A lot of people don't realize how much you can improve your less expensive whiskeys by home blending. So today I'm going after it with a really specific goal in mind. I want to turn this Benchmark Full Proof into a $100 bottle so that it actually wins a blind tasting against a $95 bottle by adding other inexpensive, widely available whiskeys to it. Some people might say it's not possible. To those people, I would say I have a lot of Glencairns and a can-do attitude. Glad that we've got that established. So let's start with our aim, our target, what it is that we're going for. At the end, whatever we find that is the best possible blend is going to go up against Milam and Greene Unabridged Volume 3, which is our $100 bottle. It's 95 bucks. So if this wins the blind tasting against this, that means we have created a $100 bottle, in my personal opinion. But let's talk about what we're up against. I'm going to put it straight into the blind tasting glass in order to save some glassware. Don't need to measure it out right now. I picked this bottle, and it's been a little while since I've tasted it, but I picked it because I feel like it has so much flavor, so much complexity. There's not a lot of bottles, especially around that $100 mark, that I think, oh, this is probably worth $100. But honestly, like if I had the money to be buying bottles like this for special occasions, I think this stands up as a special occasion bottle. Right away on the nose, I mean, it just has so much flavor. This bottle, I feel like, does balance really well. It has a really great balance of the oaky, spicy pepper with the sweeter, a little bit fruitier, kind of like dried fruit type flavor. On the nose, it doesn't let you down at all. Right away, strong oak flavor, strong pepper, along with that candy sweet, that almost cotton candy, sugary type sweet, a little bit of a fruitiness. I mean, it lets you know right away that it's going to be full-bodied. And it is 59% alcohol by volume for those who are keeping score at home, which is why we're using Benchmark Full Proof at 125 proof. We can hopefully temper it down with some stuff. Okay, let's taste it first. Oh my goodness. This is just a really tasty glass. I mean, this, what are we aiming for? Like, what do we need to do in order to beat this in a blind tasting? First of all, complexity. This has complexity for days. You get the things I mentioned on the nose, they come through to the palate. You get the sweet, you get the oak, but then as you sit with it, you start to get some leather, some tobacco, those darker type of flavors that might seem a little bit aggressive, but they get tempered down by that sugary sweetness, maybe some dried plum, things like that that add a little bit of a sweetness to it. I think we have a little tiny bit of harshness we can play with in our blends, because this does have a little bit of a bite to it. It has a little bit of that black pepper, that tannin kick, that bitterness that dries out your tongue a little bit. Not a lot though. So we're going for complexity. We're going for a lot of body. There's a ton of flavor. You have no trouble getting the flavor. When it hits your tongue, you taste it. You know there's flavor there. And we have a little bit of harshness that we can play with. I think that's really what our aim is. And of course, we're going to try to get these specific flavor notes. So we've got a good base. We've got something very oaky. We've got something that's not very harsh at all, especially for its price point. So what I think we're going to add to it, I was looking at these two bottles before I even sat down, and I thought this needs sweet added to it. This needs fruit added to it. I think Town Branch True Cask has a shot. It might be able to impart those flavors because I remember it having very similar base notes to this, along with the oak, the dried fruit, those sorts of flavors, but I don't think it has quite as much body, quite as much oomph as the Milam and Greene Unabridged has. So maybe when we combine it with the Benchmark Full Proof, we're gonna get something along those lines. Let's get our control out of the way. So we've got about $23 per bottle. We've got about $43 per bottle, both relatively available. So that makes our average price, 23 plus 43 is gonna be 66. So $33 bottle, our average price between these two. That's a pretty good price. As always, I am starting with a 1-to-1 ratio. So we start with 1-to-1. We see if it's even good, if it's even in the ballpark, if it's even headed the right direction. If that's the case, then you can play with that ratio a little bit. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna do a 1-to-1 ratio for all of our test runs. And then if I think I've got one that's close, we're gonna zero in on that. We're gonna find the right ratio, and then we're gonna put it up for the blind tasting against our champ, our $100 bottle that we are trying to beat. On the nose, I'm definitely getting that bright, sweet, sugary flavor, very similar to the Milam and Greene. A little bit of oak coming through. I'm worried it's not gonna have quite as much body. Cheers. Wow, that's a really good first try. If we end up not getting anything better than this, I think maybe if I tweak the ratio a little bit, it'd get close, but I think we can do a little bit better. We need something that's going to overpower some of the lower shelf tastes that the Benchmark Full Proof has. Once again, it's only a $23 bottle. I got an idea. Middle West Spirits, cask strength, wheated bourbon. It checks all the boxes. I'm going to put True Cask out of the way for right now. It checks all the boxes. It's sweet. It has a ton of body. It's high proof so that it won't mellow this out too much when it goes up against this guy. I think it's got a fair shake. We're gonna find out. I'm actually kind of hoping we can get a couple of good ones and maybe do a blind tasting of 3, which will make it harder to know which is which. Actually, I think we're modifying the plan right now. That's what we're gonna do, because that'll make it a lot harder to know which is which. So, let's dive in. On the nose, whoa. Whoa, that one really jumps out of the glass at you. So, there's a smell, especially to a cask strength bourbon, that I would characterize as white sugar. That's like a strong white sugar, a touch of alcohol. If you know what I'm talking about, I don't know what else, like what somebody else might call it, but if you know what I'm talking about, this has that. I'm excited. Cheers. That for sure covered up the flavor that I wasn't liking with the True Cask. I don't know if it added enough fruity sweetness. Ooh, this is good though. It's got the sugary flavor, it's got the oak, it's got a little bit of that like vanilla tobacco that we're aiming for. It doesn't have as much of a fruitiness, and it has a stronger alcohol, which this would be a higher proof than that would be. So, we might get creative. If we don't come up with anything better than that, we might get creative, because I think I have an idea that would make us a winner. But I want to do one more, and then we might play with ratios, we might play with multiple bottles. We'll see. I saw one on my shelf, and I was like, this is absolutely the one that we're doing. I think this is a great idea. Filmland Spirits, Moonlight, Mayhem, extended cut. This might be the first time that you're seeing this bottle. This is a little bit smaller of a brand, but they come out with really great stuff, and I also love their labels. So this is another one. This is cask strength. It's 57% alcohol by volume. And the reason I specifically picked it is, I know in the past when I've tasted it, I've thought this almost tastes like it's finished. Like it has a fruity taste to it, which makes me think it's got a real fair shot at imparting that specific dried fruit flavor that I get from the Milam and Greene. Oh. Okay, this is pretty tasty, but it has a distinct nutty flavor that we're not probably gonna be able to cover up. Next, let's try it. Because maybe I'll have to go get more bourbons. Maybe it won't work. But if we do 1/3 of each of these, actually we do half, quarter, quarter. That's probably even better. We're gonna go half, quarter, quarter. We're gonna see what happens. I need more Glencairns. So now this would make our overall bottle price, because if you blended all 3 of these together, you'd get 3 bottles out of it. So you divide that price by 3. That would make our overall bottle price about 40 bucks. Hopefully this is good, because I poured an entire ounce of it now. Oh boy. Oh, that smells nice. That almost has like a perfumey floral note to it. Oh, I think we're on the right track here. Cheers. Can I be so honest with you? I felt like this video was very far-fetched. It was a far-fetched title that I was like, we're gonna try it. I think we got a fair shot. This is so good. This has so many similar characteristics to this. I'm seeing some of the tobacco, for sure the fruit's coming through. For sure, I mean, it's still high proof, so ton of body, not nearly as harsh as you would expect. That is really good. That is absolutely going into the blind tasting. So I have a feeling, I was thinking maybe a little bit lower proof for our third element. I think if we take this guy and this guy, we're gonna get something very oaky with not a lot of fruit. If we add this guy, it'll add that fruit flavor to it. I think we're gonna have something tasty. Should I not even taste it? Should I just put it into the blind tasting? That'd be fun, right? Because now I'm not even gonna know what to look for. That's what we're gonna do. I already wasted this Glencairn, so I might as well finish mixing it in this Glencairn. It is time to to set up our blind tasting. Okay, this one, our mystery that we don't even know what it's going to taste like. Hopefully great. That'd be awesome. I will put that one, I'll just put a question mark because that's our mystery glass, which we know is these three. So we know that question mark means these three. Throw it on there. And then, of course, we've got Middle West and True Cask. So I'm going to put Middle West and True Cask. That one's got MW and TC. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but you get the idea. And that's this guy. Okay, I'm excited. I hope you're excited. I think we've got a really fair chance of this. I'm not gonna lie to you. We are going to give him a good spin. The pressure's on now. The pressure's on. I'm gonna take the cover off and you're gonna see me not look down at them so that I'm not paying attention to what I'm even taking off. So I don't even know what order that they're in. Okay, let's loosen the collar a little bit. Let's make ourselves comfortable here. It's time to get serious. Tasting of three. Which one's the best? Let's start with the nose. Maybe there will be an obvious favorite on the nose. That smells delicious. I'm not overthinking it. Wow, that smells delicious too. Okay, this one, maybe the least delicious. That one might have a little bit of like a harshness to it. This one, very sweet, caramely, oaky, a little bit of fruit. Same thing with this one. These two smell very similar. This one smells the most like alcohol. Let's call it A. A smells the most like alcohol. B and C smell the sweetest. All right, that's enough of the nose. We're not here for the nose. Let's taste them. Cheers. Okay, A tastes good, but it tastes like alcohol. It tastes a little touch harsh. It makes me think that it's not the unabridged, but I could definitely be wrong. I've been wrong before. B is sweet. Wow. B has a real sweet oakiness to it with some of that pepper kick. Reminds me of the unabridged. Hard to know if it is until we taste C. Oh boy. I feel like C is not the unabridged. Not for a quality reason, but for the fact that it really tastes butterscotchy to me, which I don't think I got, which makes me think it's the surprise one. It makes me think it's the mystery one. Whew, but I don't know. Okay. We're going to figure out if one of these is better than our $100 bottle, but before we do that, if you're enjoying this content, please check out down in the description below the Whiskey Noobs crew. It's the absolute best way to support my content, and also you get a ton of really cool stuff. I think it's a fair trade. You get first priority to any barrel picks that I do, and we've done some phenomenal ones. You also get access to a review of every single bottle that I am sent for review, and there's no algorithm over there on Patreon, so I can say whatever it is that I want to say about it. I can take my time, I can get into the nuance, and a bunch of other cool stuff. You're going to get merch, you're going to get other cool stuff. Go read the benefits about it. And if not, I totally understand, but please at least like, subscribe, ring the notification bell, and leave a comment down below about what you'd like to see blended next. Okay, without further ado, let's figure out which is the best. I feel like these really need a more in-depth tasting than I can do while trying to talk and entertain you. So we're gonna do our old school fast forward. I'm gonna fast forward through all this. I apologize that you're gonna have to see the spittoon a little bit, but you're gonna see it at like 100x. So you're not even really gonna see it. Let's do the thing. Okay, A tastes the most like alcohol, so we're gonna put it aside. I feel like these two are really duking it out for the most body and flavor. So we'll put this one off to the side. We're gonna refresh with some water. We're gonna dive deep. As I'm sitting here, I was just about to say, B and C are actually very similar. I'm surprised by how similar they are. And that made me think, what if neither of these is the unabridged? And let me tell you, I would just be the happiest camper in the world. But my gut is telling me this one is unabridged. We'll keep going. I'm gonna cut more out because I need time to really genuinely think about this. Okay, here's where I've landed. So as I mentioned, this one has the most harshness. It doesn't win for that reason. I mean, they're all very complex. They're all very full-bodied. They're all tasty, actually. This one gives me the most alcohol, so I feel like it has to lose. Whereas these two, they bring through nice sweet flavors with them. I went back and forth a lot on this, and actually, in the last tasting, I'm holding this one going, this is our winner. And then I set it down, rinsed thoroughly with water, and tasted this one, and I said, this has to be our winner. So B has to be our winner, which I think is the Unabridged. Listen, even if it is, how close this one got. The reason that I got B as winning instead of C. C has a little bit more of a dark flavor to it, almost like a leather that leaves a little bit of a bitterness on your tongue. And it doesn't have just quite as much complexity. I mean, B has so much going on, whereas C, it's like a touch more simple, especially the more I sit with them and the more that I go back and forth. But it's close. I'm already making up for the fact that maybe this is the Unabridged, but it's close. So if this is the Unabridged, maybe we didn't make a $100 bottle, but we probably made if this is $95, we probably made a $90 blend. So let's start with what's in last place. Our last place with a little bit too much harshness for me. This was actually our Middle West blended with the True Cask. This was my front runner. This is what I thought was going to win. We're in second place. Very butterscotchy, very complex, very tasty, but just doesn't quite have the leg up on number one. Our mystery. So this was our benchmark blended with True Cask, blended with Woodford Reserve Double Oaked. That's a phenomenal blend. That's delicious, by the way. And so our reigning champ is, of course, Milam and Greene True Cask, but I am so happy with how close we got. I mean, we got to basically, I would say, a $90 bottle. These are so close that if you're not doing a real hard, in-depth blind tasting, you're gonna be like, this one is just phenomenal. If there's anything that I want you to take away from this, it's that we got really close with some less expensive whiskeys and an hour of time to mess with them, to play with the ratio, to have some fun. Do this at home. If you've got a whiskey that you really enjoy, think about the flavors, try a few different ones, and if you've got these three specifically, blend them together, a ratio of 2 to 1 to 1. Delicious. Give it a try, and don't forget to subscribe, like, ring that notification bell. Let me know down below what you want me to try next, and on your way out, go check out the Whiskey Noobs crew down in that description. Thank you guys for watching Whiskey Noobs.